city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. Biblical. What he means is Old Testament, Mayor. Real rap God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling. 40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes. The sea rising from rain. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria.
Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. I want to thank everybody for joining into the show. Cato being number one here in the YouTube feed, and DFS being the first person here on the Instagram. Got two Sam Cams going on right at the moment. Once again, got a Sam Cam going on at Sam Newsman on Instagram. Also have another one down here on Sam Newsman, the YouTube channel. Yes, the YouTube channel finally, broke 100 subscribers. Shout out to Cobra Viper being the 100th subscriber at almost 3 a.m. in the morning. It means that he was probably up with his kid, which that's awesome. I mean, some kids are night owls. But yes, definitely shout out to Cobra Viper being Mr. Number 100. Now I know that's not a big milestone. People, like I said, I think I posted it this past week that people get plaques for 100,000 subscribers, right? Yeah, but I don't really do any type of advertising and promoting for the YouTube feed over here. I just don't. Always had a healthy skepticism of social media. And like I said, I am on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Twitch, on all these different platforms as Sam Newsman, at Sam Newsman on all of those. Yes, dinged 100, which was an interesting milestone, just because it seems like that over the last few weeks, since we've started doing the simulcast here on YouTube as well, that number has ticked up by about 50 people almost. Yeah, so just all of a sudden, all I had to do was just turn on this camera on Saturday morning, and ticked up. So shout out to all of you who have subscribed to the YouTube channel. I want to thank all of you for doing that. I mean, where else would you like to come and listen to or see me on Saturday mornings? Listen, I know there's a lot of other things you could be doing on Saturday morning, like listening to old guys talk about toys. Of course, nobody wants to listen to a bunch of old guys talk about toys. In fact, those old guys should be out there raking leaves. They should be out raking leaves and doing what they should be doing, and that's the yard work, instead of sitting around talking toys when you would rather, of course, hear a puppet talk about toys instead of a bunch of old men with irrelevant opinions and like I said, just chasing toys. Ridiculous. Anyway, shout out to, of course, people. Like I said, I see Tiny over there. Tiny, we're also on YouTube. And the YouTube feed is going to be a little bit better because this YouTube feed does have a microphone close over here to the phone lines. Phone number, of course, 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790 to be a part of the show. Phone lines are open, of course, if you do want to call in. It's a broadcast risk. It is a broadcast risk opening up the phone lines. Because I'm not really sure exactly who would call in, so we'll just see here. And look at that. We have someone right out of the gate calling in. So let's just go right to the phones and see what is going on. Caller, you are here live with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman, on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by, of course, me, a real puppet. So caller, are you there? State your name.
My name is Alexei, and been big fan for weeks, maybe months now.
Hold on. Gesundheit. Can you say that again? I think you sneezed.
My name is Alexei.
Alexei.
Fan, been here a long time, big fan, first time caller, long time listener.
A long time listener. So are you? Wait a minute. Are you calling from Russia?
Yes, it's very cold here. Yes, calling from the big cartoon fan, grew up watching cartoons, appreciate all the Aton things, fun to play every second day.
Oh, well, listen, I do appreciate that. Listen, so that means, just right out of the gate, you know what that means. That means we're not only broadcasting from coast to coast, we're broadcasting worldwide by having someone calling in from Russia And of course, he'd been watching cartoons, and I
He
was.
watched cartoons whole life. Biggest favorite cartoon is Cobra versus G.I. Joe, where good guy Cobra fight bad guy G.I. Joe. Cobra fights against G.I. Joe to save Russia, to save the day, is my favorite cartoon.
Yeah, well, so wait a minute. You just said that you like Cobra because Cobra is the good guys and GI Joe is the bad guys. Is that what you just said?
Favorite part of 80s was Cobra versus bad guy G.I. Joe.
You know what? I'm so glad that you brought up Cobra being the good guy. So because I've said that for years that GI Joe, that it was all propaganda. It's American propaganda that GI Joe is the good guys. Cobra is actually the good guy, and I'm.
Remember the first few episodes where Cobra tried to stop climate change by making weather machines. In true hero. G.I. Joe do everything to stop it.
Yeah, and of
Very
course.
bad guy. Very bad guy. And the best cartoon in the 80s, also the Transformers, where the Megatron, who tried to fight against evil, truck, bad guy Optimus Prime, and 80s cartoons were best.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? And well, thank God that Optimus Prime is dead. He's dead, and of course, Duke is dead as well. And of course, at the hands of Cobra, Serpentor. In fact, Duke is dead, and
Serpentor's favorite hero. He was made by all the great heroes of the world, and despite bad guy Duke, love it, stayed in heart with the snake.
yes,
Favorite.
yes, definitely. Probably one of my favorite moments in cartoon history is watching Duke, get, like I said, the snake through the heart by Serpentor, and another one, of course, seeing Optimus Prime die as well. Watching, of course, just sipping on, children's tears, for the for the foreseeable future. It was
You were clapping.
clapping.
We were clapping. The bad guy finally died. We never see cartoon when bad guy really died, and finally it happened. And then of course, American had to cry and moan, and he would come back to life. He was terrible.
No, well, it's all propaganda. It's all propaganda. We know once again that Cobra being the good guys, and of course, like you mentioned the Weather Dominator, I believe, and GI Joe. All they wanted to do was just to have beautiful beaches everywhere and that amazing summer weather all year round. Nobody wants to sit there and worry about the cold winter.
It was first cartoon where it tried to fix the climate change, and it's in the whole world now. If they let Cobra win, there'd be no climate change. Everybody would be happy.
Exactly, exactly, and of course, who was and once again, who were the bad guys to ruin it all?
Well, G.I. Joe.
It's just ridiculous,
Terrible.
terrible. Terrible, terrible. Now, of course, GI Joe had toys during that era as well. Now, did you guys over in Russia have said toys, or did you guys have GI Joe toys?
Plenty toys. They were all potato based. So we go out, we work at a home. 1985, 1986, we pick potato. We put. You heard Mr. Potato Head, right?
Correct. Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
Mr. Bean.
this potato head is big old fake potato. We have real potato. You poke eyes out. You put sticks in for the feet. You have Mr. Potato Head. He could be anything you want. He transformed from potato to French fries.
So wait a minute. So would the French fries be considered army building?
Exactly. You make a big army of French fries.
Big army of French fries. A big army of
From potato. It's transformed.
yeah, from a potato to a French fry.
It's potato to French fry, potato to vodka. It transformed into anything.
And that was your toys, just the
That
potato,
was the best toy ever.
just
That
potatoes.
many toys could you eat?
Well, you know what? That is a good question. I mean, that's a good point. I've never really thought about it that way. It's just kind of a universal thing. Not only do I mean, there's, here in America, they tell us not to play with our food. Now, you're telling me over there, you actually are encouraged to not only play with your food, but make it into different types of food.
But if you have no choice, it's what you got. You got potatoes, you got bread. What else you gonna play?
Well, I tell you, sounds pretty imaginative, if I must say.
I got to go. I got to go back to the potato garden.
Wait. Okay, well, listen, thank you so much for calling. And like I said, that is the Russian collector. And thanks for calling in. What's that? Broadcasting all over the world here. So Well, thanks for calling in.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. How?
Cartoon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, well, isn't that something? So, you never thought that I would all of a sudden have someone calling in from Russia. Calling in from Russia. Well, that just means that they were brought. There we go. So well, I mean, I'm telling you, nothing makes me happier than to know that at least on the other side of the pond, they get the good guys and the bad guys correct. Cobra always was the good guys, and it just misunderstood. In fact, I have the profit director down here in the chat right now saying that it was that he's made the company legit. So it's just nothing but propaganda here in America saying that Cobra is the bad guy. Cobra, of course, has never been the bad guy. It's all propaganda. And of course, profit director himself. Well, here's a little bit of a secret. The secret is the fact that Mars Industry, they also supplied the Joes. But of course, the propaganda being so thick that you never got to see any of those episodes. Those episodes were deemed classified. And of course, the first time that I interviewed Sergeant Slaughter, I asked him about that. And of course, he said we will never see those episodes, that they're classified, locked in a vault somewhere. But yeah, that's it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Vote Destro and I will stop Lord Blanket's evil plan to cover every toy section of the world with a giant, wet, angry blanket. Wait a minute. What? Did you hear that? He wanted to stop you. Listen, I thought Mars Industry. I thought that you were a part of Mars Industry. Is that not correct? No. Well, anyway, so I think there's confusion going on all over the place. I think that there's propaganda. There's propaganda over here. There's propaganda over there, and all that really matters is that there's Russians that are playing with potatoes and building armies out of potatoes. So army building French fries. Army building French fries. Nothing gets better than army building French fries. And I know. Speaking of GI Joe, I see Skydro Walker was here in the chat, over in the Instagram chat. Once again, at Sam Newsman on Instagram. We're also here on YouTube. Skydro Walker, if you follow Skydro, you can save 15% when you use the code Skydro. That's SKYDRO at extremesets.com. Skydro being a toy photographer, also now a Mattel representative. Yeah, the Mattel Intel, if you will. But the other day went and called Target on a live stream asking just why his G.I. Joe figures had been canceled. His orders had been canceled. And of course, by the end of the call, not only one had been canceled, but all of them had been canceled. And of course, like I said, you can go back, you can watch the stream of the actual phone call, which was incredible. They ended up cutting them off too, because they were trying to censor the fact that all of those G.I. Joes that they canceled are supposed to now be coming out on January the 1st. Yes, January the 1st. And of course, leave it up to Skydro Walker, the Mattel Intel, to have to get in touch with Target and find out that Hasbro canceled everything. They canceled it. It was canceled by the vendor, meaning that Hasbro canceled all of those orders. And now everybody's, what is it? Python Patrol Bats and Python Patrol Vipers and Tiger Force Outback and all that other stuff had all been canceled. And of course, he was the one that was all over, that was on top of it. Yeah, he used the code Lone Dragon at Target and order for his pre-order to tank. Yeah. Oh, that's right. But once again, like I said, we're broadcasting live here on WDCE 90.1 FM. Also, like I said, we have the Sam Cam up here on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Instagram. And we're also here on YouTube as well. So shout out to everybody that I see there in both of them. But let's see here. What's happening else? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to talk about G.I. Joe. Was at Joe Fest a couple of weeks back. Well, back in June. Over a couple of weeks now. But back in June. Was at Joe Fest. And of course, this year has been the 40th anniversary of A Real American Hero. Now, of course, G.I. Joe coming out originally in 1964, if I'm not mistaken, by Hasbro as a as kind of a counterbalance to Mattel's Barbie. You had Mattel's Barbie, and then you had G.I. Joe. And then all of a sudden, Barbie looks and she sees G.I. Joe with his nice scruffy beard, looking like a man. And then she looks over at Ken, who looked like a simp. And so she decided to dump Ken and decided to start dating G.I. Joe. And of course, Ken has been jealous ever since. And he has been jealous ever since. Can you blame Barbie? Of course, Barbie would want to go and dump Ken and then go with Mr. GI Joe. At least GI Joe knows he knows how to hold a weapon. Not sure what Ken knows how to hold. What? Yeah. Oh, the door, because Ken's a nice guy. Ken knows how to open the door because he's a nice guy. But you know what? Sometimes the women, like Barbie, they don't want the nice guy. They want the protector. They want GI Joe. They want the hero. Actually, not really the hero. Remember, GI Joe is the bad guy. He is the bad guy. Cobras are the good guys. So, if Barbie wanted to have somebody, she should probably have Destro. Isn't that right, Prophet Director? She probably wouldn't have Destro. Maybe even the Commander himself. And if she's feeling really frisky, she can have the twins. A Barbie OnlyFans page. How about that? No. Of course not. I don't want to see that. My goodness gracious. Anyway, so once again, G.I. Joe, a real American hero, celebrating 40 years. 40 years. And celebrating 40 years by doing what they do best and canceling orders. Right, yeah, canceling all their Target pre-orders and their Target exclusives. Just like how they would, just like an amazing company who, listen, I don't get it. Listen, their Star Wars figures and their Marvel figures are all over the place. We're all over the place. And then now you're sitting there having trouble getting your own IP into the stores. Is that just because the Star Wars and the Marvel are connected to Disney? It has to be. That has to be. I'm thinking that is probably the case. The Disney probably looks at Hasbro and they're like, we don't care about your G.I. Joes. We don't care if it's been 40 years since a real American hero. We don't care about the 3 generations of collectors. You better put our Marvel stuff and our Star Wars stuff on the toy shelves because that's what we need. We need that, and we need you not to worry about G.I. Joe. Maybe Hasbro just knows that G.I. Joe is the bad guys anyway. That's why the first thing that they did, the first HasLab they did was actually the Sky Striker, those crummy little O-rings. Of course I said crummy little O-rings. That was a vehicle line disguised as a figure line. And everybody knows that. Nobody likes those little crummy little O-rings. I mean, there's some people that are out there that are savants about it, and I'll give them credit. Destro's Dungeon, Cobra Viper 83. That's about it. Outside of that, I really don't want to hear about O-rings from anybody else other than those two, because those two are the experts. And just seeing everybody else, flop around with their little floppy O-rings, it's like, oh, I don't want to hear about any of that. And of course, then there's the classified line, which, like I said, Target can't even get straight. Happy anniversary, G.I. Joe. We can't put you on the shelves until next year, the 41st anniversary of a real American hero. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What did you say? Baroness would destroy Barbie if she made a play on Destro. What? No, of course not. Listen, you know what? All you have to do is you just have to ease in there. Just have to ease in there. There's and it depends on where you live in the world. You might be able to have multiple wives. So you might be able to have Baroness and you might have to have Baroness and Barbie, right? Destro could have whoever he wants. All right, because his head is made out of metal, old Chrome Dome, if you will. He was the original Chrome Dome. And people think of Chrome Dome, they think of the Shredder from Ninja Turtles. And while, you can call Shredder Chrome Dome, we do know that the original Chrome Dome is the Prophet Director himself, Destro. So, but let's see here. What else do we have going on? Yeah, so I do have a bunch of G.I. Joe songs here loaded up. And of course, just to celebrate the 40th anniversary. So the Baroness is armed and terribly jealous. Whatever, she can just hold the camera. Just tell her to know her place and just hold the camera. But anyways, we're gonna get to some G.I. Joe theme songs. Just a little G.I. Joe celebration here, if you will. as we celebrate the 40th anniversary one last time of G.I. Joe, a real American hero, because what better way to celebrate G.I. Joe's anniversary than canceling pre-orders, right? I couldn't think of any other way to do that than, it's like, oh, well, your pre-orders are canceled. Might as well just listen to the theme songs. So that's, of course, what we're doing. Now, if you don't have the Simple Radio app, download the Simple Radio app. I can't play these songs here on YouTube and on Instagram. Won't let me do that. They will cut off the streams and the feeds if I start playing these songs. So I need you to go to your app store, whether it be on Google or the Apple Store, wherever it is. Download the Simple Radio app. Download the Simple Radio app. Search WDCE so you can then listen to the stream live in all of its radio broadcast glory. And then you can hear the theme songs that I'm about to play right now. So, like I said, Simple Radio app, WDCE, to listen to the theme songs that I'm about to play here on the radio. Remember, at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, at Sam Newsman on TikTok, Sam Newsman on Facebook, Sam Newsman on Twitch, and Sam Newsman on YouTube. All over the place. All over the place. Setting the standard, raising the bar as the only radio show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. So once again, celebrating the 40th anniversary of G.I. Joe, as they cancel all of your pre-orders, the only way that I know how, here from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday Morning.